Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, ora brothers, what's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, I hope you're ready to talk some Corey Linsley, because this is a huge development. Like, this is pretty massive. You guys remember, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was talking about potential offensive linemen the Chargers could go after. I did list Corey Linsley, but in that video, I also mentioned I didn't think there was any way that the Packers were going to let him walk. I'd be like, they'd be crazy if they don't re-sign him immediately because of very many reasons. The biggest one being that he was the #1 center in the NFL last season. He was a voted first team All-Pro last season. This is probably one of the best offensive linemen in the whole league, regardless of position. And it seems like the Green Bay Packers and Corey Linsley are not going to be reuniting in the upcoming year. The Chargers would be absolutely crazy if they're not knocking on doors, if they're not blasting the Packers with phone calls or Corey Linsley with phone calls to get this man in Los Angeles. This is huge. If the Chargers have an opportunity to sign one big splash name this offseason as far as free agency, it's got to be this one. The Chargers have a lot of different things they need to fix. I think pass rush is huge, probably bigger than even I am making a deal of right now. We need to free Joey Bosa. Chargers offensive line is an obvious huge need. And then maybe even cornerback. But I honestly, truly believe that if we're going to set things right with our offensive line, begin a new era with the Chargers and protecting Justin Herbert, improving the run, this needs to be the move right here, Corey Linsley. And as a matter of fact, take a look here. The Chargers have a strong interest in Packers Corey Linsley. I'm just kidding. This account on Twitter shouldn't be taken too seriously. But I do think there's a huge possibility that the Chargers are in talks, or at least will be in talks as soon as the free agency period begins. So in today's video, we're basically going to be talking about Corey Linsley, what he could do for the Chargers, why this is such a big deal, a huge development for the Chargers offseason, and why it needs to be a #1 priority for the Bolts come free agent period. This has to happen. This must happen. Before we do get into this content, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this video. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Why Corey Linsley must be the #1 priority for the Chargers this offseason. I still can't believe it, man. I cannot believe the Packers are letting this man go. Corey Linsley currently is, 29 years old? I think he'll be 30 by the time the season rolls around. That's not bad, man. That's not bad for an offensive lineman, especially one coming off their being voted the first team All-Pro last season. I think PFF has him slated as the #1 center in the nation. I think he was #4 in pass blocking and #2 in run blocking. What more do you want? The Chargers' current situation as far as center right now kind of lies in the hands of, do we re-sign Dan Feeney? And Feeney's great, man. I like Feeney. It's pretty evident that Justin Herbert likes Feeney as well. But when you're talking about the kind of transition that the Chargers are going to bring in this season when it comes to offensive line, the kind of value that you would find in Corey Linsley is invaluable. There's nothing that can really top it. And I think it all does come down to his experience, his leadership. The Chargers are likely going to draft I'm hoping quite a few fresh offensive linemen in April. We're going to get some rooks, some greenhorns in here. What an incredible leadership role Corey Linsley could adopt with the Chargers. Not to mention he'd be reuniting with former Green Bay Packer Brian Bulaga, who plays right tackle for us, who I do expect to have a bounce back year next season. It's kind of been the Brian Bulaga effect. Has a down year, comes back, has a really good year. So hopefully that does translate with the Chargers. But reuniting with Brian Bulaga, like I mentioned, they're probably going to be overseeing a fresh group of offensive linemen that we take in the draft. The kind of veteran leadership, the kind of chemistry that we see between center Linsley and tackle Bulaga could be pretty invaluable. A huge developmental boost for our young offensive line. And it's not only going to be helping the offensive line, but guys, I don't know if it's been iterated as much on this channel. It really should be. My bad, everybody. How important the relationship is between your quarterback and your center. A lot of things have to happen in a very short amount of time as far as, directives and stuff between your quarterback and your center to convey those instructions to the rest of your team. There's a lot that has to happen, a lot of communication. It's very, very important that your center and your quarterback are on the same page. I think that Corey Linsley not only provides incredible value as far as a leader to the offensive line, but incredible to the development of Justin Herbert as well. Think of him as your Chewbacca to his Han Solo. Like, literally, these two could develop a chemistry that really helps the entire tempo of the Chargers offense. You guys got to remember that the Packers, in my opinion, are a very high tempo offense. And this is something that I fully expect Brandon Staley to try to adopt this season. When you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, you want to be moving the ball quick. You don't want to give your opponent an opportunity to react to what's happening. It really feels like that's the kind of coach that Brandon Staley is. He uses every, analytical advantage to his, arsenal. And I feel like the pairing with Justin Herbert and Corey Linsley would very much so provide strengths to that. Corey Linsley, again, coming from a very high-tempo offense, blocking for Aaron Rodgers. The communication between him and Justin Herbert could definitely help instill a winning culture with the Chargers that came from Green Bay, not just from Corey Linsley, but with Brian Bulaga as well. His leadership duo with Bulaga could transform the rookies. I think this is pretty big, guys. To reiterate one more time, the Chargers, the word rebuild gets thrown around a lot, right? But I think the Chargers need to think in that mindset as far as the offensive line. We may only have one offensive lineman from last season going into 2021. There's a chance that Turner leaves. We already lost Mike Pouncey to retirement. Left guard Forrest Lamp is likely going to be a free agent. Left tackle Sam Tevi, he's likely gone as well. So if we start anywhere in this rebuild process of this offensive line, I 100 million% think it needs to be Corey Linsley. The kind of value that he brings is absolutely incredible. Again, voted first team All-Pro last season. Not only is he a great player, but he's a great human being. I think he was the Packers nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Yeah, that's the kind of leader that you want on that line. The number 1 center, number 4 in pass blocking, number 2 in run blocking. And that's something that we don't really convey that much on this channel either. We want to help the run game too, guys. The Chargers, I think, were among some of the last as far as statistics in the run game last season. We need to help the run too, man. I want to see Austin Eckler provided with some lanes. The Packers last season too were averaging 1 rushing touchdown every game since 2019. Since 2019. And a lot of those runs came up the middle. That kind of starts with your offensive line, your center. That starts with your center. The kind of leadership that he could instill in, let's say, the guys around him, the guys that we draft, could really help the Chargers in boosting our run as well as protecting Justin Herbert. The run needs to be emphasized here as well. I don't know, man. The Chargers could certainly draft a fantastic center, which I'm all about. I'm feeling really good about that. But I'm feeling great with Linsley and his veteran leadership and experience under center, instead of a rookie. That could be invaluable. A guaranteed high-quality center is the perfect building piece for a young offensive line. This is huge. Chargers, please, for the love of God. We've been talking a lot about Orlando Brown. That trade should happen. I really hope it happens for the Chargers. Instant left tackle. But if we're going to get anybody from free agency as far as offensive line, I think it needs to be Linsley. Joe Thuney would be amazing. Trent Williams would be amazing. But I strongly believe that the center position should be the first one, and I do think his leadership and his experience is the most valuable from those positions. Now, really quickly, if we do decide to go after Corey Linsley, how much is he going to cost? Let's go over here to Spot Rack. His estimated value right now is $9.7 million per year on a 3-year contract, averaging around to $30 million in total. Now, me personally, I think that's a little low. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around Corey Linsley and his value. So I'm going to guess that his annual earnings will probably be somewhere between $10 and $11 million. Let's go with that. And that's something that, honestly, the Chargers should be willing to pay. Take my money kind of scenario. Give him. Here's a blank check with your name on it. Put any number on this piece of paper, and the Chargers will pay it. This is the guy. This is the guy. Over 3 years, too, this opens up a lot of possibilities for the Chargers in the draft. That's the last thing I want to talk about. What happens if the Chargers take Corey Linsley? What changes in the draft? What kind of loosens up the possibilities for the Chargers, I would say, in rounds 2 to 4, because I do still think that it's very likely the Chargers take an offensive lineman in the first round, more than likely an offensive tackle, which would be great. Again, you bring in, let's say, a rookie like Slater, and you give him a leader, a mentor in Corey Linsley and Brian Bulaga. I'm feeling super good about that. So just as an example, though, let's say the Chargers take Corey Linsley. I did put together a couple mock drafts just as an example of the Chargers having a little bit more flexibility in the second round through the fourth round. I only did 4 rounds in all of these. This is the kind of thing we're talking about. Let me actually make this a little bigger for you guys. Okay? So in the first round, I still say the Chargers take a tackle. We went with Christian Darrisaw. Now in the second round, you're talking guys like Creed Humphrey, right? You want in the past couple of mock drafts we've done on this channel, have been targeting a center between rounds 2 and 3, whether it be Josh Myers, Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey. Well, instead, I see an amazing, guard in Wyatt Davis, and I'm thinking, okay, now we got the center. Let's go ahead and grab that guard. All of a sudden, you got Christian Darrisaw on the left. You got maybe Wyatt Davis on left guard or right guard, depending on what we do with Trey Turner. And then you got Corey Linsley in the middle with Brian Bulaga on the other side. I'm feeling really good about that. Then again, the flexibility comes in. Oh my God, I see Tyson Campbell in the third round. I'm going to grab him. That really helps the Chargers' needs at cornerback. I see a value in Jabril Cox. I'm not sweating the center position anymore. Let's grab Jabril Cox. We got ourselves the safety from USC as well. That would be incredible. That's a great draft. Let's look at this other one right here. Chargers first round, Rashawn Slater. I'm still all about that. I don't care. The only other person I would take above Slater is Kyle Pitts. If Slater is there, you take him. He can play tackle. He can play guard. Gives you some versatility. In the second round, I still see Dylan Raduns there. Oh my God. Let's go ahead and put Slater at left guard and throw Dylan Raduns in at tackle. Beautiful. Then you got Corey Linsley there in the middle. Great mentorship on that offensive line. Third round, maybe I see Josh Myers, but I also see Hamilcar Rashed. I mean, we don't really need a center anymore. Let's go ahead and grab that edge threat that we need for the Chargers. Trill Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse. Great pick in the third round, the late third round. And then Tyler Shelvin falling into the fourth. I'm going to nab that every time. The kind of flexibility that you're getting. One more, guys. One more. This is probably my favorite right here. First round, Slater. Lock and loaded. Second round. I don't know, man. Maybe we can find a good offensive lineman in the third. Let's go ahead and grab Asante Samuel in the second round. Chargers, instant. We have an instant contributor to that cornerback position that needs a lot of help. Third round, we got Deontay Brown. Amazing. Interior offensive lineman. He does have some concerns as far as his speed and mobility, but whatever. We're fixing this offensive line. 97, Quincy Roche. Great value. And then Paris Ford. I think I traded up a little bit for him just in a couple picks from Pittsburgh. This is great. This is probably my favorite one out of the examples that I made. It offers you some flexibility. That's all I'm trying to get at. If the Chargers pick up Corey Linsley this offseason, again, probably the best free agent right now, in my opinion, that they could pick up, it loosens up what you can do in the draft. You're not relying on a rookie center as heavily, which, again, I feel if we don't get Corey Linsley, I'm still targeting a center. We need a center on this team. But if we do get Corey Linsley, the kind of flexibility that you get in those high rounds, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, it's very intriguing. All of a sudden, Asante Samuel shoots up my draft board. If I'm not having to target Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey, I want Asante Samuel, and that's somebody that the Chargers have been on the phone with, just so you guys know. Just so you guys know. So in the comment section, guys, I want you guys to tell me, how important is it to you? Like, give me your number one free agent this upcoming offseason. Could be Corey Linsley, could be somebody else. How much do you value Corey Linsley as far as a free agent target? Is there somebody else that you're really hoping the Chargers go after? I'm still a huge fan of J.J. Watt. If what's his name from Tennessee, Clowney is available, I'm still kind of high on him. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm still kind of high on him because I think that he could see the same transformation that we saw from Leonard Floyd, who honestly, Leonard Floyd should be on top of a lot of people's free agent picks as well, as far as, pass rush to help Joey Bosa. I'm seeing a lot of John Johnson III, some guys coming from the LA Rams that could help in Brandon Staley's new system here with the Chargers. There's a lot of possibilities, but right now, my number one priority for the Chargers is to bring in that leader, the Chewbacca to the Han Solo for this offensive line. The kind of leadership, the kind of experience, the kind of mentality, the kind of winning culture, mentality that he's bringing is invaluable. And I cannot believe that the Packers are letting him go. This could be a whole new Casey Hayward to the Chargers from the Green Bay Packers experience, like we saw in the past. We could see a huge resurgence. This is the center point, the quite literal center point in rebuilding this offensive line. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you like this content, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up, bring Corey Linsley to the Chargers, and stay frosty.